Don't let the beavers dissuade you from playing this awesome colony civ game. See, back in the day, I used to love playing god games. I think that's what they were called, but games where you had a little civilization and you had to help them survive. Not quite the complexity of like Rimworld yet, but earlier ones, like where I'd play Dust, I think it was called. It was an Xbox 360 game. That was a lot of fun, and I liked saving my little people from giant floods. And that was always really cool to watch water simulations. And then on like water simulations, I love this game called Sandbox because I love just making things and you'll see what I mean. It's really early simulation, right? I would just make stuff, then burn it, or I would make stuff and overfill it or flood it and try to build little things. It was fun. And that building need never went away, went on to Minecraft and other games. And this idea of little worlds you can control. Pocket God, I think, was a game when I was a kid. It was one of the earlier apps that you control these little like native dudes and they would kind of run around and be like just silly and you do different events with them or take them to go do different things like strike them with lightning or teach them how to make a fire. It was all silly and fun. And I loved these things where I could push a knob and then see how the world reacted. Has always been a fascination of mine. So Timberborn didn't seem like that. It seemed more like the Rimworld and combination of that and a survival game. I don't really get too into Frostpunk and those ones where you usually start with a little town and then grow just to build the town. Town building's not typically my favorite thing. I'm more interested in the people and the civilization. Like I like naming my little dudes, but I got into Timberborn and it is like consumed my weekend. I think I played about 7 hours for 2 days. So 14 hours on one save. That is 128 by 128, like tiles long. And I'm just shocked I've spent so much time there. So I want to convince you to maybe look past the beavers if that's a not selling point for you. It was for me initially. I was like, I don't really think I want to play a beaver society. I love my beaver society now. So what's cool about Timberborn? Well, initially it starts out like a lot of those games that I've played. You have a small colony of beavers or your little people, and you need to help them survive. What are you going to do? You're going to set up some lumberjacks, cut down wood to build shelter. You're going to set up some basic farming, gather berries. It's all simple stuff, and it really doesn't seem to jump in complexity until you start looking at the events that happen. So the game has this the game has a system called cycles where like every 4, 5, 6, I honestly haven't paid attention, every so many days, you will suffer one of two events, a bad tide or a drought. Both of these are water oriented, and that's when it started making sense why we are playing beavers, because your power will come from water. The way you keep your plants alive will be through water. How will you drink to survive? Well, you'll need water. So water becomes this critical resource that everything relies on. Like Factorio needs power and all these sorts of things. Timberborn, I think, is closer to Factorio than it is Rimworld. It's almost like that middle ground. And for me, that gets me. That gets me because they don't waste my time with some things that I typically don't like about these sorts of games. I hate spoilage. I never really care for that mechanic. I know it's realistic. I prefer it to be a setting that can be turned on and off via hard mode, but when I'm collecting any sort of edible good for my colony, I hate looking at the number just like slowly decrease when it's not from eating. Like if I get a whole bunch for people to eat, it just starts going away because I have a hard time telling when I have an optimal amount of food. Well, this game doesn't care. I make carrots, one carrot will last forever. If I keep making carrots, I can have a giant buffer between me and accidentally starving my whole population because I didn't pay attention and one drought hit and I didn't make enough food before it. So I don't lose my whole game off that one thing. But with this idea that you're playing beavers and water is everything, when these droughts come, how do beavers, what do they do in the wild? They build dams. They see flowing water and they say, not in my forest. So you build dams. You start out with just simple ones. You're like, oh, this is great. And then the first bad tide comes. And bad tides, I don't have footage of one here, but essentially this world's after humans have ruined it, right? Beavers have come along after and have become evolved enough to do this stuff. But there's irradiated water or bad water. And so you think I'll build a dam and that'll save all my problems. I'll never have to experience a drought and have to worry. Well, then you get your first bad water tide and it sweeps down through the river that you've dammed. So what do you end up doing? You end up stopping all the irradiated water right next to your flowers and house. And so that'll kill you. The first thing that happens and you don't know what you're doing, that'll be the end of your civilization. You tried your best. At least that's how it was for me. So the neat thing about it is then you have to start looking at solutions for how to do this. And I know maybe this is a stupid unique thing to me, but I have to say it's probably not because people like this game, is that playing all those games with fluid systems and fluid dynamics has always been fun. And I've never played a game that has tried to make me build a levee. Like usually if I want to build a levee, it's just a button and I click in a game, and I don't know how many of you have played games that build levees. That maybe speaks towards what I play, but OpenTTD is an old transport tycoon kind of game. That's the only I can think of where I've built a levee before. And so I've always thought that fluid's a rather fun thing to look at. You know, people like fluid simulations for visualizers on music videos to just watching a lava lamp. Recently I got one, and this game really hits the vibe. Just watching that bubble right next to me while I try to figure out how to feed these beavers and keep the water in or out of their homes as needed is just a fascinating game. And I would have initially scoffed and looked away, but I think this weekend I was playing a game called Scythe with Friends. It's a board game, and the board game features like a Europa that is in the end of a war, and now these last little trickles of factions are coming here to try to win the land by the end. And it features walking around Europa like a Risk style game, bringing mechs in to take territory. And it surprised me that the real goal, even though you have giant mechs, is not battling the mechs. It's about either gathering enough resources, getting enough money, or being liked enough by the people. The people in the game are very important. If you attack someone's territory, but they have 5 villagers on it, you lose a lot of popularity, and popularity will determine how much like in-game resources yours count for. Like if you give the people and your popularity will measure how much each item you own in the end is worth. And I think it's kind of interesting because there's always this ludo-narrative dissonance where the game mechanics don't match the game or the world that you're in that kind of break you away from it. And actually by being beavers, this game makes the dissonance complete. Otherwise, I could get it with humans, but there's something about playing beavers that makes it make more sense that I can build dams immediately. Like that's a built-in knowledge, and that I want to mess with the fluid dynamics because it makes sense to me. If I was playing humans, I'd understand mechanically I have to, and that's what's going on. But it just makes sense. It's something like Frostpunk being humans and that you're humans trying to survive and they need coal and this stuff to keep them alive. Makes sense. We're, warm-blooded, but we can't live in that level of cold. If we were polar bears, it'd be like, why am I gathering coal, right? So I really like the game, and I think some people should be out there playing it that aren't playing it yet. So this is my recommendation to you. If you've not played it, play it. The reason I brought up Scythe, if I didn't finish that little tangent, is because the fact that the people are the big goal is that makes the game make sense, because even though there are battle mechanics, they're simple because the real goal is to try to capture this area. It's the end of the war. I was confused why it wasn't during the war. The game says this takes place after. This is the settling down. And if you have all the land but none of the people like you, they don't care if you own their land. So why should you get 10 points? Because they don't like you. They don't want you to own their land, but you own enough of it. Well, maybe then that's why it matters, because you own 20, 30 pieces of land. You win because they have to respect your authority because you have the most. But the person who has the most popularity, maybe few resources, the most loved person, that could be the winner. And that's fascinating to me. So if you're looking for a game that's kind of in that Factorio, Rimworld, and let's say OpenTTD Venn diagram, which is a very specific kind of person, I think you'll really enjoy what Timberborn has to offer. I've not even touched bots, by the way. Big part of the game, not even touched them. I bet you $20 there'll be a video on here about how to use bots once I figure out, because there's an entire mechanic of the game, like a whole tree. 25 hours in, I've not gone down because I keep being like, I need to perfect my little city before I move on, have it self-sustaining, and then I'll move on to mechanizing it so that my little beavers never have to work another day in their life. All right. Thanks for watching. Peace. And there's also a second faction that I think wants to run the world. It's pretty cool.